Hello everyone, my name is Harsha Lokesh. I'm the Senior Business Consultant with Exact Software. And today I'll be demonstrating to you how to make changes to an existing workspace. Well, these workspaces are basically a SSRS report, which stands for Sql Server Reporting Service. And if you are very familiar with how to build queries in SQL, you can construct one of these workspaces by yourself. But if you are an average user like I am, it would be easier and more intuitive to make changes to an existing workspace depending on your preferences. So I am on the Exact Macola homepage here, and you see that I have the shipping lineup workspace pulled up. There are several other such workspaces available out of the box, and you can view these by accessing the System menu here. And under the Setup tab, if you scroll all the way towards the bottom, under the Reporting Services integration, you have Management. So clicking on Management brings up the entire list of available workspaces. For example, the Shipping Lineup workspace that was opened earlier can be found under the Exact Workspaces-Core ERP. So let me expand that directory, and towards the bottom, I see the CA Sales Shipping Lineup. For our demonstration today, I'll be making changes to this workspace. So let me click that. And before I go about making changes to the existing report, what I'm going to do is download it and save it on my local machine, and then make changes to it. This I'm just doing so that I don't risk corrupting the original report. So I go about doing that by downloading the report, and you see a small pop-up window that towards the bottom of your screen. This shows the name under which the report is saved. So here it happens to be ca_sales_rpt_shiplineup.rdl. A SQL Server report would usually end with .rdl. That's how you identify a report file. So I'm going to save it as. I'm going to save it locally on my desktop, and I'm going to rename it as, say, workspace configuration. .rdl. And save it. So once I'm done saving the report, I can back out of this application, and I'm going to make changes to that report in Microsoft Visual Studio. It's this icon here. So that brings up the Visual Studio, and in order to make changes to that report, I have to first create a new project. I do so by clicking on this icon here, and I would name this project as Workspace Configuration. And you notice that I'm saving it locally. And I say OK. So that brings up this new project, and the details of the project can be viewed under the Solutions Explorer pane. I'll give you a small tip here. If this Solutions Explorer pane is not visible, then you can bring it up by going to View and clicking on the Solutions Explorer. So here, this is our new project, and first thing I'm going to do is importing the report that we had saved on the hard disk. So I do so by right-clicking it, and I'd say add existing item, and I had saved it on my desktop and named it workspace configuration.rdl. Again being the SQL report. So I would say add. This brings up the report, and if you try to run this report now, it would not run. It would spit out an error. The reason being, it doesn't have any shared data sources to pull that required information from. So let me show that to you right now. So if you go to the preview, the report does not run and gives you an error message. That's because it doesn't. So let's go ahead and add the shared data sources. So I do so by right clicking and say add existing item. And you will have to look for the directory where the 3 required data sources are stored. In my local machine, it happens to be in the C drive, but if you are using a virtual machine, it might be stored at a different location. So that's something that you would have to look up. Now I know the directory where it is, so I'm just going to go to that directory directly. The 3 data sources that are required for those reports to run are the CA configuration.rds, that's the first one, and Macola.rds, that's the second one, and synergy.rds. So these 3 shared data sources are absolutely needed for those reports, and the name of these shared data sources are going to be the same irrespective of which virtual machine you're going to be using. So I'm going to add these, and there you go, that shows up here under the shared data source directory here. And now, for example, if I try to run the report, it should give me an output without any error. So there you go, it's loading, and it'll show up the information there. There we go. So on viewing this report, which can be done only in the preview tab, I noticed that I only have the name of the customer, but I would like to add the customer number, for example. So I'm going to do so in the design tab. And to add the customer number, what I'm going to do is go to the datasets directory available here on the left side of your screen and expand that directory and look for some of the fields that I might want to add to my report, for example, the customer number. What I'm going to do now is to drag this customer number and drop it in my workspace here. So I would like that field to show up right next to the customer name. So I would drop it there. It shows up with the blue line there. So there you go. I just dropped it next to the customer name column, and it shows up right there. This can be viewed by going to the preview, and in the report we should be able to see that new field included. There it is. So that is one of the changes that you can make to an existing workspace. There are several other changes that you can make. For example, you might want to rename these column headers. That can be done simply by double clicking on the name or the header of that column, and you can change it to whatever you want it to be. I will change it from customer to customer name, and there you go. In the new report it would show up under that name. You might also want to make certain other changes. For example, each time you click on an image, you might want to get a menu pick that pops up. This can be done by using some of the report items available under the toolbox towards the left of your screen here. So what we can do is drag this image icon here and drop it at wherever you want the image to appear. In this case, I would drop it here, and I'm going to choose an image that I have on my hard disk, and I would say import, and I believe I had saved one image. I can use this, the CEO image, and say open. And we want this image to be interactive. So each time I click on the image, I want a menu pick to pop up. So I do so by going to Actions and say go to URL and click on the Functions button that you see here. This brings up the window wherein we would be putting our query. This query would prompt the menu pick to appear when clicked on that image. So let me remind you, I'm no expert in SSRS reporting. So what I have done is I have copied that query from an existing other report, and I'm going to use that same code here. So I do so by pasting it here. So I repeatedly use this code for wherever I need that menu pick to appear. But what I do is I tend to rename it uh, with, with a name that would make sense to me, just to help me keep track of it. So here I'm going to say CA underscore ship underscore demo. That's just renaming the menu. And once I'm done with that, I would say OK, and that should take care of it. Now let's preview this. So once the report runs, you would see that the image appears where it was placed, that is towards the end of the report. And you see that when I move my pointer on that image, it changes to that finger, signifying that clicking on that image performs a certain action. So similarly, you can use a lot of these reporting items available under the toolbox tab here, and make them more interactive. You can add maps, gauges, charts, and so on. And in order to make them interactive, you can use the queries from other reports, which you can just copy from that report and paste it like I showed you previously. And once you have made all the changes, you can go ahead and save the report. And once the report is saved, this report needs to be deployed in order for that to be available in Macola. That I'm going to demonstrate in my next video. Thank you.